What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Today we're here to talk about one of the brand new Sugo Fest exclusives that just came out, obviously Legend Jinbe, and we're going to use him in Rumble today. Now, Rumble for Jinbe, it is going to be interesting because Jinbe, I don't think he's going to be a quintessential component of his teams that he boosts, but he's an interesting choice. Let's go ahead and talk about him. So Jinbe is a sci-fighter powerhouse, as we know. His Rumble ability will actually only boost powerhouse characters, giving them 6 attack and 6 HP, which is very common amongst the powerhouse or the fighter teams currently. He also gives himself level 4 defense, and then after he takes damage, he gives himself a level 1 attack up to 5 times. So Jinbe himself can actually have quite a lot of attack, relatively bulky. He's a self-sufficient character pretty much, which is kind of interesting. His Rumble special though, 29 CT, does a large horizontal range, 2.3 times attack, and then your powerhouse allies get level 5 defense for 15 seconds. It's a pretty good Rumble special. 29 is like on the cusp of it being a little too much, but I think the fact that he does do horizontal damage definitely is a huge detriment to the character. Considering the fact that a lot of the characters that are in his squad either can target certain opponents or they do large range, the fact that he does horizontal definitely hurts the character. But let's see how he kind of performs today. He might outperform himself. He can output a lot of damage, obviously, because his Rumble ability can give him a pretty sizable amount of attack. In terms of his resistance, he does evade Special Bind, which is pretty interesting, and gives 30% damage reduction versus Int. So, because he is focused around Powerhouse, and he is also a fighter character, and also due to the fact that he's a Psy unit, is why we're bringing Marco in the team. So Marco actually gives buffs to Psy and Powerhouse characters. We have Who's Who, obviously Katakuri, synergizes perfectly with the Jinbe, and Ulti because she does a lot of damage. So, you know, it is a bit weird to run 5 legends on the front row. I'm personally not a big fan of doing that for a lot of squads, but considering the way that this team is, I have tested out using, you know, 4 legends, 4 Rumble Rare Recruits, and you definitely need these legends in order to make them more efficient. Personally, at the moment, I don't have Don Jinjiao Pirate Rumble Rare Recruit. If I did, I would try him out on the front lines and see how that kind of works. Unfortunately, due to the lack of Rumble Rare Recruits on my end, I'm unable to try that, obviously. So let's go ahead and jump into some Rumble matches and see how this kind of goes. So let's see how we kind of go up against a semi-optimal looking quick team here. A little bit weird that Izo and Okiku's on it. If that Izo and Okiku was replaced with something like Tesoro, for example, this team would be really, really scary. But the fact that it is only working with Izo and Okiku, I mean, I guess they can definitely still hurt us, right? Because we have Who's Who, we have Ulti, who are strength units, which definitely will hurt us. So this is probably not the best matchup, but let's just see how it goes. Obviously, we want to see what this team is capable of doing, and what are the shortcomings of utilizing a squad such as this, right? Let's see how it all goes. Now, obviously, the big downfall with this team currently is that there's no CT increases. I was testing when I pulled the character to try Pirate Rumble Rare Recruit Otama, which does give you a pretty substantial amount of CT increase at the start of the match. But not having that legend on the front row really reduces your damage by a pretty significant margin. Here we go with Katakuri. Pretty good damage, actually. Not bad, not bad. This is going to hurt us. Okay, as long as we can tank that. And I'm pretty sure this character does Special Bind, don't they? Ulti got Special Binded. That's not what we want. Ulti's one of our hardest hitting characters. And we get the health cut, the damage. Ulti's taking a lot of hits here. Who's Who will do damage through defense here, which is kind of nice. It actually does knock out the Luffy. That's pretty wicked. Hopefully no haste from the Magellan. Did he get the haste? He did. I'm not too sure. Question mark. Either way, Kaido is also going to hurt with the defense down. That's the thing about this team is we don't actually have a lot of bulk. That's why we're running Marco on the team, because he does give us pretty good bulk. Here's Jinbe though. Actually solid damage and more bulk is added, so it kind of mitigates some of the defense down that Kaido did to us. And here's Ulti coming in. Does the 3 targets twice, which is very good. Here's the Whitebeard. We tank that pretty well. Marco gets Special Binded right before he's about to launch. Oh, man. That's so frustrating. We're in a really good position, though. Katakuri's already launching again, and he just wipes out the whole field, dude. Katakuri is so good in Rumble. Like, because I have mine at 150, right? So he has the best stats. He's expanded. He's as maxed as he possibly can get. And Katakuri, man, he synergizes so well with this Jinbe, it is crazy. But we saw Jinbe, he gave us a bit of bulk, which was nice. He did decent damage. Unfortunately, no knockouts, but it did enable us to get the knockouts with Katakuri a little bit later on. So, ultimately, was actually a pretty impressive showing against, you know, it's a pretty scary looking quick team, but no Tezora, which definitely would have been more threatening. Of course, we have to try out this one, but remember that Wano Law is going to be a huge problem here, because our entire team is Powerhouse, so that's going to be really bad. We get, I think it's, what is it, CT reduction. I think he also does, is it speed down? I can't remember exactly, but Wano Law, man, he's going to be the detriment to so many teams, man. I hate Wano Law. I wish he never existed. He just makes things so much worse. I mean, it is good if you're offensively thinking about things, you know, if you're trying to use a side team, going up against those really pesky driven or Powerhouse teams. Yeah, Wano Law is good, but I hate how good he is, man. He is a problem, but unfortunately for us, we are going to be taking a lot of damage before we can output any to them, so that's obviously going to be a big issue. Here comes the fixed damage and also all of the disgusting stat drops from that Roger. Hopefully we can resist some of the action bind. We did, luckily. Here's Yamato. Who are you going to target? Okay, we luckily tanked that. That's actually good because Katakuri can come in and actually heal himself. Unfortunately, Jinbe got hit with the half stats. Pretty decent damage from ulti. Here we go with Katakuri. Didn't get hit with half stats. Wow. Holy. Knocked out Yamato, Odin, and Roger with one hit. Dude, Katakuri's a beast. Damn, dude. Alright, well, I think this one's pretty much GG. We don't lose this here. Good damage from Jinbe. More defense, more bulk. We love to see it. And then a normal attack to finish it off. Wow. That was a pretty fast win against that side team. Man, I was so scared, but luckily for us, not a lot of our characters got hit with the half stats from Yamato, and we were able to knock out Odin before he was able to launch a special, which is just unheard of. That typically doesn't happen. So we got pretty lucky. If Katakuri did get hit with half stats, it would have been a lot different of a match. That is for sure. We probably would have knocked out Odin. He would have done damage to us. Maybe got some action binds. Would have been pretty bad. But that was a pretty big win. Holy. Alright, Viceroy's coming up here. Let's see whose fighter team is going to be numero uno. Now, this one does have the Donchin Jiao, which I am kind of afraid of, but they've also got ulti, they've got their Garp and their Sengoku. Robin and Jinbe is an interesting choice in terms of bulk, and then they've got Katakuri in the back. I don't know about Katakuri in the back. I would usually want to use Katakuri on the front lines because he's just kind of a beast. And, you know, you can just have him up front, tank the hits, and then he launches his special, he heals back. Like, Katakuri is a really good character, and honestly speaking, I probably would use him on the front lines. But then again, he is also a pretty good late game sweeper, you know, when it gets to 30 seconds or less, you could definitely, you know, sway the tides in your favor with that Katakuri special. But let's see what we've got cooking today. Obviously, Donchin Jiao is going to be kind of annoying because he can go ahead and rewind some of our specials, which is obviously not fun. And he is going to do that here, it looks like. Oh, who's actually going to launch first? That doesn't happen too often. That was very good damage. So who are you going to rewind? Oh no, you special bind as well. Yeah, so that's so frustrating, dude. It just means that none of our characters can launch a special. That is so annoying. Okay, well, let's see how we tank these hits. We got to outwit this the special reverse and also the special bind. Marco might get his special off. Let's see what happens here. Okay, we're going to take a lot of damage from ulti. She's so annoying. And Marco is going to launch here, which is really good. Getting rid of the Robin Jinbe, a bit of health recovery back for our side units. And then Garp's going to do a bit of damage to us. We tanked that really well, though. Like, we're just doing really well. Actually, we might KO Katakuri here, depending on how things go. Okay, Katakuri barely survived. That is annoying, because he is going to get a little bit of health back when he uses his special. Okay, so the fight of the Katakuris. And we still need our ulti to launch. Here's Jinbo, though. Whoo! Knocking out their Katakuri. See you later, alligator. And ulti might just finish it here. Let's see this. Bop. Bop. Okay, and then Sengoku just be chilling. Yo. So, look, that was one thing I was considering as well, is the Garp and Sengoku fighter team combination. But, man, that is just... That combo sucks, man. I don't know what they were thinking. That combo just ain't good. You know, going down the more Powerhouse-focused route for the fighter team is just better. It's more consistent. You get more damage. It just works out better than the weird, finicky things that Garp and Sengoku tried to do. But I do like Donchin Jiao. You know, you saw how disruptive that special was against our crew. If we were up against a more formidable squad, we could have definitely been in trouble there. But ultimately, we got the dub. So this is an interesting one. Like, typically I wouldn't really want to go up against a Dex team unless if I am using a strength team, but this one is interesting. There is no Super Tandem Luffy, which is one of the big red flags, obviously, because he's so bulky and the revive effect that he has. But this team is no slouch either. Lucci and Zoro can definitely hit hard. Cat Viper can hit really hard. And then you've got Kid, which can also do decent damage now that he has his Super Evolution and level limit break. But also, Kid adds so much bulk to their squad. So this is going to be an interesting matchup to see how things go. They don't actually have a lot of bulk, which is interesting. So, you know, characters like Who's Who, like hopefully we can get his special to launch before the 40-second marker, which we are just going to miss there. So we need to come back around. Here's Zoro. We tanked that pretty well. Jinbe is actually going to launch first for us, which is nice. Very, very solid damage to start things off. And Jinbe's special does add additional bulk. Lucci removes some of that, which is fine. We still tank that very comfortably. And because we have no quick characters on our crew, the Dogstorm special will do no offensive damage to us. Katakuri, let's see it, buddy. Good damage, get a little bit of health back. And here's ulti, hopefully get a knockout or two with her. That would be nice. Level 10 attack up, you love to see it. Bing, bong, knocking out the Dogstorm, which is good. Here is the Kid, giving them more bulk. We tank it though. Like we're just looking good right now. Actually, Who's Who? Oh, he launched just a little too late, so he's not going to do the damage through defense. We knocked out the Lucci though, so we don't have to worry about that no more. We're in a very good spot. This is pretty much a dub here. 3,500 fixed damage, and with all of that being said, we win. Yeah, this team really didn't have a lot. This was not a super optimal Dex team, so you can't really, you know, credit this win either. But this is a really convincing win. Like, just hardly any damage done on their end. It would be interesting. I think even if they had Super Tandem Luffy, I still think we would have won very convincingly. They just didn't have enough damage output against us. We had pretty decent bulk, like lots of HP, decent defense, you know, ranging, starting from 10, they can go up with Jinbe special. They obviously have Lucci, which can reduce some of that, but ultimately a very convincing win. I definitely wanted to see if we could actually outpace the healing and the defensive capabilities of the Int squad. This probably isn't the most optimal team to go up against. You know, there's no Uta, no Yamato, no Kid or anything like that can really put offensive presence on us. But I'm just very interested to see, you know, how the healing capabilities of this squad can outpace us. Because obviously they've got Moria, which can halve our stats, which means we don't do a lot of damage toward them. And then they've got characters like Perona, which can reduce our stats. Perona, I believe, does some healing. You know, you got Whitebeard, which does pretty good bulk. Smoking can special bind us. Basically restricting the amount of damage that we can do so that they can basically time us out. That is the goal of this team. And we'll see how we're able to do that. I mean, they've got level 16 bulk. That's really scary to look at. Let's see how much damage we can do here. Yeah, they tank that really comfortably. I don't feel comfortable with this. I think we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. At least ulti's launching pretty quickly here, which does give us some additional attack. Hopefully, we can outpace their defense. Here's the Reiju, which does damage over time, which is gonna really suck, honestly. Here's Who's Who, which will do damage through defense. Wow! Dude, that's, yeah, that's something. Alright, and with that, we just straight up win because of that. That is insane. You know, Who's Who, I haven't always been a big fan of him. I've used him a lot before, and there have been times, as we saw in the previous match, sometimes that you just don't get that damage through defense, but when it works, dude, when it works, it's just massive. It's literally game defining if it works or not. And in this situation here, we were able to get through it, and their Luffy crew absolutely whiffs just to add insult to injury there. So that's crazy. So our Katakuri is going to come in and just hopefully pick up the dub here. Let's see this. Okay, no, Luffy crew is going to res, of course. We knocked out the Smoker. We don't have to worry about special bind. This is going to hurt for them. Whew, and then Whitebeard just be chilling, and we should be able to pick up this victory pretty comfortably here. And it looks like Jinbe might pick up the win. Oh, mate, Jinbo! Ah, he just missed out on the win. That's okay. We'll just get some normal attacks, and then GG. So, there we go. Again, pretty convincing win. Again, it wasn't a super offensive team, but we were able to outpace the defense and healing capabilities. We got very lucky with the Who's Who special. You gotta respect that. But ultimately, the team works. It has some synergy, it has some bulk, and it can output good damage. But there's definitely a few holes that would lead me to believe it's not the best team out there to use. But it's a lot of fun, that's for sure. So ultimately, Jinbe's a pretty interesting choice. He adds a lot of bulk to himself, at least, and he can, you know, obviously buff his own attack quite a lot once he takes quite a few hits of damage. And Jinbe's special can provide bulk to your other powerhouse characters, and it does decent damage. You gotta remember though that Jinbe's damage is horizontal damage in a large range, exactly the same as like V2 Odin, for example. And V2 Odin, we all know how good he is. However, there are those opportunities where he can just straight up whiff. So that can be a huge issue, but ultimately, this is a really fun team to use. Is it a team that I'm going to use a lot moving forward? Probably not, but this is a really fun one. So if you have access to Jinbe, this is what you can expect to get out of him in Rumble. He's a lot of fun. Probably not optimal, but definitely a really fun character to use. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.